What's going on, everybody? Voidlego here, back for a brand new episode of Chaos Head Noah. Last time on, we saw both Bam and Yua get off the train station, and Bam discloses to Yua that he thinks he's been being followed for the past couple weeks. It does not help that he gets threatening phone calls every now and then of people saying back off and whatnot. But back to the main course of action, which is Takumi going to his parents' house and it not being there. He tries to look around for it, thinking he just got lost, but Remy explains to him that it never existed. His sister exists, but not him. You see, according to Remy, Takumi is simply the delusion of another person. And every time that Takumi has a delusion, it hurts the real person that came up with Takumi, which I'm thinking is probably 100% Shogun. Which begs the question, why did Shogun create this delusion of Takumi, and how come it was so powerful that it created an actual person with free will and able to come up with their very own delusions? After that, Takumi kind of just wanders around where Remy walks off and tries and says she's going to finish all of this eventually. And so we cut back to Bam and Yua at the offices, talking about what their next move should be. Eventually, Bam gets another phone call saying the per usual routine of, back off or whatever. But this time there's a second voice, and that voice belonging to Suwa, his partner in crime. And before he's cut off, Suwa manages to talk to Ban and tell him that he's held at the hospital. And so Bam must go out to the hospital and rescue his partner in crime. Takumi comes to an intersection and he tries to kill himself over and over again, yet he cannot. No matter what he does, it all just turns out to be yet another delusion. For he is a delusion itself. Anything he tries to will, he can't do it. So does that mean Takumi does have free will, or has it always been under the control of another person? Because he is nothing more than a delusion, not a real person. He was never born. Hell, Remy said that he was born only half a year ago. He's always been a teenager. He's never aged. So, who knows what the hell is going on, but by God, I am fast. I'm locked it in right now. That's for damn sure. So let's get right into it, shall we? Asakahata Remy walked beneath the Shibuya station underpass. She took out her cell phone. She had walked straight here right after parting ways with Takumi. She then selected the number registered in her address book as Nana-chan and placed the call. They picked up the very next moment.
私、実はちょっとした報告があります。ナナちゃんをこれから助けに行こうと思って。
Remy had an idea of where Nanami was being held, as well as who had abducted her, a fear she had only come to because she had been in a similar situation herself once before. Oh? It was a past she wanted to forget, but it was one she was ready to confront in order to rescue Nanami, no matter how steeped in darkness those memories may be. So Nanami was probably taken by Nozomi, right? Which is why the CEO had the Gregor Froggy in his trash can. And I guess they tried to do the same thing with Remy, which makes sense because try to get more samples of Google maniacs. The reaction of whom she had called was exactly as Remy had predicted, leading her to inevitably start laughing.
私って信用されてないな。平気だってば。
Both her voice and expression were cheerful, and an ounce of the grim resolve she carried could be felt. To an outside observer, it would simply look as if she was having a fun, engaging conversation.
昔の話だしね。そもそも私の感情とナナちゃんを助けることとどっちを優先させるかなんて決まりきってることだよ。言ったでしょ、私はあなたの力になりたいって。それに特には関わらせたくないの。
You sure? I don't know. You told him he doesn't exist, Remy. I don't think that's the greatest solution. As she said that, Remy's expression clouded over.
ねえ、ちょっとだけ語っちゃっていいかな。タクにね、いろいろひどいこと言っちゃったんだ。しかもそんなことしておいてすごく自分勝手なんだけど、私彼と一緒に過ごした時間はとっても楽しかったって思っちゃってるんだ。何もかもが妄想でまみれたまやかしでしかなかったのに。
Oh boy.
学生生活もあの学校に私やタクが通ってることも、大ちんと友達だっていうことも、私がタクと一緒にいようとしたことも、タクの存在そのものも。
Little by little, Remy's pace slowed. Multiple strangers passed her by.
タクってどうしようもないくらい情けなくて、どうしようもないくらい弱くて、きっと普通の女だったら見向きもしないような男の子なんだよ。
As she spoke, she squeezed the hand she held the cell phone with.
なのに私の心には楽しかったっていう気持ちがあるの。なのに私の心にはもっと一緒にいたかったっていう気持ちがあるの。この気持ちって何なのかな。
Looking up, she saw the neon-lit night sky. No stars were in sight. For an ethereal moment, Remy stood beneath it. A slight smile rose to her face when she received a response.
さてと、そろそろ切るね。本当に大丈夫だって。あなたは何も心配しないで。私が全部決着をつけてくるからね、たくみ。
God damn it, Remy. God damn it. This is such a strange situation. The guy we've been hanging out with, the main character, turns out to be simply the delusion of the actual Takumi. And I'm in a position where I can't help but, like, say, fuck the real Takumi. What the hell has he done? You know? Because I've become so endeared to delusional Takumi. I really have. I really fucking have. Maybe because I relate to him in some ways. But it feels unfair. You know? That's probably the best way to put it. It feels unfair that, quite literally, this Takumi we've been having the point of view from has never had a chance. He quite literally has never had a chance at all. He was created this way. I feel like that's what it's going to turn out to be. He was created this way. So if you're created this way, how can I be angry? Or how can I be like, how can I not be sympathetic? You know, if you're created to be this loser that was always, 16 or 17 or however old it said Takumi was at the beginning, right? Always was that from the very beginning. It wasn't the choices that led you down this path. It was, you were just simply created to be this way. You know, it's kind of like Cain from Legacy of Cain when he was, since the moment of his birth, he was always corrupted. It's like, how can I be not sympathetic to someone that has never had a choice in what they are, you know? So it just makes me so sympathetic to him, and it's like, who the hell is this quote unquote real Takayumi? What the hell has he done, huh? Besides being in a fucking wheelchair all this time or whatever. Like, how is this fair? It's so like conflicting. And I love it. I love when stories challenge me so much. It's God damn it. I understand Remy's feelings. It's a bit sad, but yet still, the backstab just feels stings. Stings as all fuck. Having lost all my willpower, before I realized it, I found myself back in my base. I didn't even know how I got in here after failing to die in Yamanote Dori. My memory was hazy.
このコンテナって誰がどうやってここまで運んだんだろう
It was something I never even thought about until now. But now that I couldn't help but notice how odd it felt. The more I thought about it, the more the feeling encroached upon my mind. The moment I closed the door, the room went pitch black. Leaning against the door, I simply stood there, still as could be. Inside the quiet room, all that could be heard was the sound of my shallow breathing and the hum of the fan inside my PC. I thought that maybe surrounding myself in darkness would make things easier, since I wouldn't have to be conscious of my pitiful self, but it had the exact opposite effect. Unable to see anything, and with nothing else to listen to, Remy's cruel words from before repeated endlessly in my mind.
あなたは妄想の存在なんだよ
My own moans disgusted me more than ever before. I even felt nauseous. I was already a disgusting freak even before all this, but my very existence itself was warped. I was already beyond saving. I wanted to disappear completely. As I tripped over the trash scattered across the floor, I stumbled my way to the end of the room. I turned the lights on, scaring away the dark. I then grabbed the Saratan figure, post-awakening version, that just so happened to enter my line of sight, sat down in my chair. I brought her close to my chest. She was really small, and she was really hard too. She didn't breathe, nor did she speak. She didn't have the warmth that a 3D girl had. Despite that, she was all I had left. Fuck, man. Ugh. Ugh. Remy had left me. I didn't know where Nanami was. Senna attacked me. Kazupian protected me. Yuo was my enemy, and Eloise was hospitalized. These were the only girls I knew the names of. None of them would do anything for me. Reality was harsh. He didn't give a damn about a monster like me. With my trembling hands, I tightened my grip on Seratan. Then tighter, tight enough to break her. I wanted to disappear completely. If that was how I thought, shouldn't I just act? Ultimately, I was just playing the tragic protagonist right now. Even if I was overcome with sorrow, no one was going to empathize with me. Nobody was looking at me. Nobody was here for me. They had all abandoned me. No, I didn't have any real bonds. There was no one in my life I could count as a friend. I didn't even have a family. I was a fake after all.
オタクばっかり並べてる。
Just shut up and die already. Settling down Seratan, I sluggishly got up from my chair and found a plastic cord lying under my bed. Oh, fuck. I picked it up, made a ring big enough for my head to fit in, and tied the other end to the pipe of the loft bed.
死んでやる、死んでやるよ、死んでやるんだからな。
There was no one here to stop me. But of course there wasn't. I was the only one in this room. I managed to secure the plastic cord quite well. Dying is surprisingly easy, I thought to myself. I put my head inside the ring and tightened it around my neck. Normally you couldn't hang yourself just from a loft bed, but it wasn't high enough. But if I kicked my legs out from under me, then height wasn't an issue. All I needed was the resolve to die. Now at the end, I looked over at Seratan, who smiled at me from atop my desk. Starting with Seratan, my waifus lined up on the shelves would be the ones that would see me to the other side. I was struck by sorrow. Loneliness filled my heart. Felt a twinge in my nose.
さよなら。
Placing all my weight on the cord, I kicked my legs out. The cord started strangling me. It was putting immense pressure on my neck. It dug into my flesh hard. It hurts. Before I knew it, I was unconsciously trying to relieve the pressure of my fingers, moved my legs back into place, and went to stand up. But if I did that, I wouldn't be able to die. If I didn't keep all my weight on the cord, I couldn't be strangled, so I endured it. My throat hurt. Rather than being able to breathe, the pain of it digging into my neck was the worst part. Hurry up and die already. The suffering continued. It was so immense I couldn't even pass out. My body swayed aimlessly. Around and around it swayed, my legs kicking up and down. The pipe on my loft bed started creaking, and suddenly my body lost all support. And I violently crashed to the floor, landing flat on my ass. The impact I felt in the bones of my pelvis made me writhe in pain. And at the same time, I was desperately sucking in air. As tears swelled up in my eyes, I looked up at the cord that had been tied to my bed, only to find that it snapped in two at the center. Fuck, man.
なんだよそれ。なんだよそれは。
Of all times for me to fail, why at the very end would it mattered most? I knew it was beyond saving, a good-for-nothing loser that hadn't managed to accomplish even a single noteworthy thing in his entire life. That was the person to begin with. But to fail even when trying to die was just too much. Why couldn't I die? Even though I wanted to die. Now that I knew how painful it was to be hanged, I would never have the will nor the courage to attempt it again.
楽に死ぬ方法を誰か教えてよ。
Seeing my shameless tendency to align others where its head once more, I was hit with a wave of nausea. I really was completely and entirely useless. Human presence quickly faded from the hospital cloaked at night. Perhaps after taking in all the life and death during the day, took this time to regain balance. At this time, the hospital housed neither the scent of life nor the scent of death. Only a quiet emptiness reigned. Ben Yasuji chuckled to himself as he realized the odd nature of his thoughts. Despite the minor self-flagellation, it did indeed feel especially quiet tonight. It was not yet time for the lights to be on, leaving the corridors steeped in darkness. There was not even a single sign of any nurses. Immediately after stepping foot into the lobby, Ben was hit with a very bad feeling. There was no logical reasoning behind it. It was simply what one might call a detective's gut. My gut is usually right for the most part. In his mind, he believed it to be an oddly superstitious thought, but this may have simply been a way to dismiss the feeling. While the taxi had driven him to the hospital, Ben had attempted to call Sua's phone numerous times, but each and every one of them had failed, which only served to demonstrate his junior's precautious situation all the more clearly. There was no time to waste. He had to find the place where Sua was being held within the large hospital and rescue room, all while not being detected by the kidnapper. The Wynum 4 would have made his footsteps echo. To avoid this, Ben took off his shoes before entering the lobby. Winter was swiftly approaching at this time of year. In fact, Ben was literally made aware of when the chill from the floor sent shivers up his soles. The hell? The sound of the automatic front door echoed throughout the room, followed by the voice of a girl calling out Ben's name. The surprise of seeing her in the lobby put Ben at a loss for words. He hurried towards her in a panic. Oh shit, Iwa. Beyond her glasses, her eyes threw anxious glances at her surroundings.
おい、なんでついてきたんだ。身を隠せって言っただろうね。
すみません。でも、私。
Ben worked for any signs of Momose, but she was nowhere to be seen. Realizing she had come alone, Ben scratched the top of his head with a concerned expression.
今すぐ戻れ。これは遊びじゃねえんだぞ。
それは分かっているつもりです。
分かってるなら帰るんだ。
Oh shit. Right as he spoke, a creaking sound came from the hallway across the lobby. In the very center of this empty, dark hallway, slowly, an empty wheelchair made its way towards Ben and Yua. Then, at nearly the same exact time, someone could be heard running up the stairs.
とにかくユアちゃんは帰れ。いいな。
Fuck is going on? Before he had even finished giving his warning, Ben had already started running. He followed the footsteps up the stairs without waiting for Yua's answer. Given his typically laggard demeanor, the speed at which Ben moved was like nothing anyone could have ever imagined. Up the rooftop. As he followed the footsteps, Ben found himself on the roof of the outpatient ward. There were lines of shrubbery installed on the rooftop, forming a garden of sorts. There was most likely a space of healing for the patients there, but regrettably, as the lights were off, Ben could not see what kind of flowers were blooming there. Given the fact Ben was on the roof, it was only natural that the wind would blow strong. With ragged breaths, Ben quickly surveyed his surroundings. Without a shadow of a doubt, this is where the man behind the footsteps must have run, but now he was nowhere to be seen. Was they read here on purpose? The man had fled while causing sounds that seemed purposeful, but Ban could not think of any other reason for him to have done that aside from reading them here. Ban did not have his gun on him. As he was apprehensive about being unarmed, he looked for something that could serve as a weapon, but to no avail. With a gulp, he wiped away the sweat on his forehead with his fingers. Step by step, he made his way to the center of the garden. Here and there, Ban could see a few hiding spots tucked within the shadows of the benches and shrubbery. He put himself into a fully alert state, one in which he could respond to a potential attacker no matter the direction they came from. The garden was set up in a circular fashion, with benches placed around it in accordance with its shape. Ban strained his eyes as he looked at each bench in order, and on one of those benches his eyes landed upon a strange object. Keeping a close look on his surroundings, he slowly approached the bench, and as he got closer to it, its shape was made clear to him. What the fuck? It was on the size of a soccer ball, round and dark. It was fucking Darth Spider's fucking mask. A severed human head. Ben, who had investigated countless murder cases involving dismemberment in the past, quickly recalled an image of a photo he had once seen. The bad feeling in his chest grew stronger and stronger. Recognizing the possibility of it being his junior's head, vengeful anger and furious rage towards the perpetrator bubbled up from within. Ben gritted his teeth and drew even closer to the bench. The object did not move a single inch. The wind of the night continued to blow. Oh shit. Then Ben heard a gunshot. He froze in response to the sudden sound. Normally the detective would duck and investigate the direction the sound had come from, but he was unable to do even that. No. In actuality, there was no need for him to do that anymore. Oh fuck. Feeling a burning heat in his chest, Ben touched it with his hand. A swiftly sensation. Something was flowing out from his body, accompanied by the very particular smell of blood. Only a short moment following the gunshot did Ban's mind begin to register pain within him. He had been shot. The moment he realized this, all strength left his legs. Fuck! Unable to remain standing, he collapsed to the ground. What? The footsteps from earlier were approaching him. As his very vision grew blurry, he desperately looked up at the person drawing near. A dark shadow with a gun in its hand. A shadow so dark man could not recognize its face.
ああ、
A voice came.
手を引けって言ったのに。
A voice he recognized.
残念っすよ、先輩。
Ban, collapsed in the heat, was met with the ridicule of one man, Suwa Mamoru.
すわがお前が俺を
そうっす。いやー、祝初発砲ってところっすか？
This has to be like fucking with his perception or something. What the fuck? As he laughed into the night, Suwa casually picked up the object from the bench.
ちなみに先輩、やけにこれに注目してたっすけど、そんなに珍しかったんすか？ダーススパイダーのヘルメット。
Suwa, who had now returned to Ban, held the dark helmet in front of the detective's face in an ostentatious manner.
ざまねえ
As Ban laughed, his vision grew blurrier and blurrier. Both his arms and legs felt extremely cold. His chest hurt, but not just from the physical pain. He also felt an intense gaze upon him, but he had no more strength to conclude whether it was Suwa's or someone else's. Knowing that his wife would last only a few more minutes, Ban forced his growingly heavy body to face upward. With arms and legs outstretched, only the night sky lay above him. A sky overcast, with no stars to be seen. But even if there were any left in the sky, Ban had long since lost the ability to see them. What the fuck? After a few coughs, the taste of blood spread through his mouth.
そう。お前はバカだ。まだガキでどうしようもないくらいのバカなデカだ。だが俺はお前のこと結構買ってた。
自分は先輩が鬱陶しくてしょうがなかったっすよ。
I mean, would it make sense for Sua to be working with Nozomi? I mean, he is the one to, like, get a lead on the suspect, right? And if my theorizing is correct, that the supposed new gen murderer was just a cover-up, it would make sense that Sua would be behind it. Son of a bitch. Maybe or maybe not. I don't know. Fucking, this game is so weird about perception. I don't even know what the hell's real.
気持ちはわかる。
Ban's breathing grew increasingly shallow. Only a faint wheezing sound could be heard leaking from his throat. For long, he would be unable to perceive anything anymore.
何者なんだお前。
With his consciousness fading in and out, Ban spoke one final question. In response, Sua pointed the muzzle at Ban, then gave his reply.
魔法使いっす。
バカが。
Before either of them could realize that the wind had stopped blowing, the darkness had quickly turned to a place of serenity, and within it 2 figures remained frozen still. But that too remained only for an ethereal moment. Sua's finger, now curled around the trigger, slowly moved inward.
先輩に信仰の救いあれ。
Fucking divine light. Fuck. Oh my god. Yeah, this ain't the happy ending, ain't it? I really don't think so. Long message, huh? Really long this. What? Whoa. After all this time, only now you become Junie? Wow. Cue me. But were rejected by an RL girl. Kill me. In that case, I've got some good news for you. Kill me. Kill me. If you stay a virgin till 30. Kill me. Kill me. You become a wizard. Kill me. Kill me. That's a pro tip. Kill me. Speaking of pro tips. Kill me. Apparently he's going to be at festival in about an hour. Kill me. Kill me. It'll be at Shibuya Scramble Crossing. Festival? What the fuck is happening? Kill me. Kill me. Kill me. Jesus, you're annoying. What the fuck? Kill me. Well, that's what you want. You should go. Kill me. Kill me. You're a celebrity, so you'll be the center of attention. Maybe you can get someone there to kill you. Turning off my PC monitor, I hugged my knees with my arms. It's like he knows as well that he's, Takumi. Who knows who the fuck Grim is as well. Maybe he's just some guy, but I think by this point he's just another... I don't know.
僕を殺してよ。誰か。
鬼ってば。
In my hand was Serotan, my one and only ally.
おーい、あげろ。
Perhaps because I've been holding her in my sweaty hands for a while. Her slender limbs are all sticky. Not only that, but her arms had been bent.
ほら、開けろ。
Is that really Nanami? That voice. God, it's just, by this point, it's like, what the fuck do you believe? What the fuck do you believe now? Also, this is our last save, folks. I filled up every save slot. It's neato. That voice. It couldn't be. How?
バカ鬼。
There was no way I misheard that. Out of every girl that visited my base, there was only one dumbass that would scream outside of it like that. Nanami was here. I was somewhat surprised at how indifferent I felt in response to that fact. I just didn't care. What would her coming here while I was this far gone even do for me? Besides, it wasn't like it was out of the ordinary for Nanami to come here. Hadn't Remy said that she was going to rescue her anyway?
開けないとひどいんだからね。
The noise was starting to irritate me. Just leave a monster like me alone. Nanami should have been focused on her right hand, not me. Not that I knew what happened to it. I didn't have it in me to talk to anyone anymore.
鬼。
But she was being too loud, so I was forced to get up from my chair and head for the door. The door seemed oh so far away to me, which made me realize I was scared to see her. The second I opened the door, Nanami shivered a little, then fell silent.
鬼。
Even though she'd been shouting at the top of her lungs just a few moments ago, she was acting strangely meek now. I was confused. I've barely ever seen Nanami act like this. So a thought crossed my mind. Was this Nanami real? Exactly.
いるなら早く出てよ。入っていい？
I didn't answer. Ignoring her question, I headed back into my room and sat down on the sofa. I once again took hold of my Serotyne figure and gripped her tight. So tight, in fact, that my hand hurt slightly. But it didn't matter, because that pain too was a delusion. Nanami followed after me, entering the room in silence. Once she came inside, as if she didn't know what to do at that point, she moved aside the magazine scattered across the floor and squatted down. She didn't speak, even though normally she'd have started scolding me the second she got the chance. She looked at a fixed point on the ground as she hugged her knees closed. She had a deep, depressed look on her face. A bandage was barely visible beneath the sleeve in her right wrist. I was about to say, if you sit like that, I'll see your panties, but stopped myself. This Nanami had to be a delusion. I was too, after all. Everything in this world was made up of delusions. Delusions developed only within my mind. Both me and this delusion I was looking at were fake. So if I saw her panties, or even if she walked around town buck naked, it made no difference to me whatsoever. Averting my gaze from Nanami, I looked up at the ceiling. With no particular goal in mind, I started counting the rusty spots. I didn't want to look at Nanami. I'd only feel empty if I did. Silence took over. Only the sound of the fan in my PC could be heard throughout the cramped room. Even though every time Nanami came to my base it turned into my own personal hell, one that was annoying as could be, I still felt that way. But those memories, too, might have been delusions.
ねえ、お兄。何か喋ってよ。
A voice devoid of all energy. This couldn't be Nanami. Therefore, she must have been a delusion.
どうして何も言ってくんないの？包帯のこととか気になんないの？
I concentrated on my task of counting the rusty spots. I don't care. You're a delusion. Even if you were the real one, I'm completely unrelated to you. I'm a delusion, so I'm not related to you by blood.
何か言って。お願いだから。
The sound of rustling cloth rang throughout the quiet room, followed by a ringing in my ears. My head hurt. These two were delusions, though, so I paid them no mind. Whether the Nami was throwing off her clothes, taking off her bandage, or doing something unthinkable, it wouldn't surprise me. I didn't care. This was a delusion, and so was I. Even if there wasn't a concrete line of logic, it was the obvious conclusion to reach, and that was the end of that.
ほら、見てよ。
I wasn't going to look. I was too afraid.
青技、だいぶ消えてくれたな。最初はすごく腫れてたんだよ。バスケしてて転んで打撲したんだ。
Of course. Of course.
見てもくれないの？ナナってお兄に心配されたこと一度もないな。逆はしょっちゅうなのに。
I didn't want to see anything. I didn't want to think about anything.
ねえ、ナナミ。
Without meeting her eyes, I called out to my sister, or to the girl whose identity I wasn't sure of.
お前が本物でも偽物でもどっちでもいいよ。
Right now, I only wanted one thing.
僕を殺してくれないか。
Damn, man. Fuck, man. What the fuck is going to happen? At the front entrance to AH Tokyo General Hospital, Kusunoki Yua fixed her gaze beyond the automatic door. Having been told by Ban to get out of here now, she had reluctantly complied and went outside. However, in her worry, she could not bring herself to go any farther. Ban had followed the mysterious figure and vanished up the hospital stairs. It had not even been 3 minutes since there, but hoping that Ban had already returned, Yua peeked into the lobby. This was after Ban had headed into the hospital alone. Yua ignored Mimose's orders and had followed after him. Also, she could get one step closer to the truth beyond her little sister's death than the true perpetrator. The person that had told Ban to back off over the phone and had abducted Ban's junior, someone who must have been named Suwa-san, was most likely the same one that had killed her sister, Mia. That was the feeling Yua had, and as such she had been unable to hold back her impulsive emotions. Despite Ban's various warnings about the dangers of involving herself with this case, Yua had come nonetheless. Moreover, it was not as though Yua would be able to achieve anything by coming here. She was nothing more than a powerless high schooler after all. Somewhere in her mind, Yua hoped that Ban would simply come running gallantly back after apprehending the culprit. If that happened, she would have had the opportunity to question them directly. Why did my sister have to die? That was the one thing Yua had to ask. Suddenly, Yua felt a gaze upon her. She nervously scanned her surroundings. Oh, now everybody's feeling the gaze. It had not even been 2 hours since the sun had set, yet oddly enough, the hospital's front entrance was eerily quiet. 2 hours? Yeah. Right next to it was the urgent care entrance, which also served as the entrance for emergencies, and yet not even there housed any signs of human presence. 'Cause everybody's going to the festival. Whatever the hell that is. A train gently ran along its tracks beside the hospital. Hardly any cars passed by the large street in front of it, and there was nary a single passerby. Housed between the sleepless cities of Shibuya and Shinjuku, where Yua was now was akin to an abyss of darkness, formed in the interside of 2 bursts of blinding light. No figure that could conceivably be responsible for the gaze was visible. Holding back her anxiety, Yua placed her hand on her chest and let out a small sigh. Following this, she found herself glancing over at the hospital ward. What the fuck? Whoa. Oh boy. There, at the entrance of the hospital ward, stood a single girl. The lights were out, rendering the area very dimly lit, and yet the girl's figure was clearly visible amid the darkness.
Mia-chan.
Yeah, this is like Noah too. It's fucking up perception of reality for everybody, isn't it? That's why it was, to ban whoever shot him was Silla, because that's his worst case scenario, that being betrayed by his partner in crime. So they're putting in Noah too, and it's now gone to this point where it's like nobody can discern reality anymore. We're at the breaking point. It's the best way to put it. Who knows what the fuck is real or not? Without intending to, Yua whispered that name. Her sense of reason told her it was impossible, but nonetheless she could not keep those words from escaping. The girl was a mirror image of her, the mirror image of her twin sister that was no longer of this world. Moreover, Yua recognized the clothes she was wearing. She knew, almost for a fact, that they were her sister's clothes. The possibility of her perhaps being a ghost filled Yua with fear that made her hair stand on end. Suddenly, the girl turned and headed for the automatic door, marking the entrance to the hospital ward. The moment she grew close enough, the door quietly slid open. It isn't a ghost. Yua was in shock, but before she could register anything more, she promptly ran after the girl and into the hospital ward. Inside, perhaps due to it being past closing time, it was even quieter than outside. Each time Yua took a step forward, her footsteps echoed forth into the depths of the corridor. It had been just the same in the outpatient ward, but the fact that it was even quieter made her very uneasy. Maybe That would explain why Hazuki wrote down like the divine light over and over again. It's just an effect of Noah too, isn't it? They're just kicking it to high gear now. The girl had disappeared up the stairs. Yura heard the faint sound of laughter coming from ahead. It's like a scene straight from a ghost story. With that on her mind, Yua cautiously made her way up the stairs step by step. She arrived on the second floor. Glancing around the corridor, she did not see anyone, something she had expected. But just as she was suspecting, that may have been mere illusion. God. A girl's laughter sounded from the floor above. That voice and the sound of its laughter were identical to what Yua had heard time and time again in the past. Climbing to the third floor and looking down the corridor, Yua saw a girl with the same face as her standing there. Oh boy. One of the victims of the first New Gen case, the group dive. Her little sister should have died 2 months ago. Kunosuke Miya was stood right there with an unmistakable sense of presence.
So.
Yua removed her glasses and rubbed her eyes. However, even after putting her glasses back on, she looked to see that Miya was still there.
Miya-chan, nano?
What's with these visual novels and twins? Anyway.
どう思う?
A voice so clear it could never be an illusion. And that intrepid smile on her face, that laughter in the air. It was exactly the same as you had remembered from her sister. Mia had always acted this very same way. In order for her to be the wrongdoer in the eyes of others, she had laughed like that all the time.
Miya-chan. 本当に私がミヤであなたがユアだと思う?
Oh boy, here we go.
どういうこと? もし逆だったらあなたがミヤ、死んだのはユア、殺したのはあなた。何を言っているの？あなたは親に愛される姉が疎ましくてネットで殺人を依頼したのよ。しかも自殺に見せかけるように見ず知らずの4人も一緒に飛び降りさせた。あなたは姉になりすまして妹の死を悲しみ涙を流しているふりをしながらこれまで姉が独占していた親の愛を手に入れて心の中では北総縁で違うわ。私はユアよ。誰がそれを証明するの？
Oh boy.
私はユアのはず。でも確信が持てない。私を私だと証明するものって何？顔？名前？記憶？自分のことなのに。自分で自分を証明するなんて不可能よ。私がミヤだっていう可能性もあるの。あなたはいろいろと調べていたじゃない。多重人格、無遊病。
Yeah, he did look into multiple personalities.
記憶捏造、それから妄想。
The concepts Yua herself had been looking into prior to now showed just how real the ambiguity, memories, or perhaps recollections truly was. She didn't know nor understand herself anymore. What was she? Yua cradled her head as she shook it in denial.
あなたは誰？
Oh god. Was she Yua, who had always played the good child and was automatically loved and cherished by her parents? Was she Mia, who had always played the bad child and was actively hated by her parents? The child who, despite her actions being her own, ought to cast her sister in glares of jealousy and hatred?
さあ私も
Mia, or possibly Yua, guided Yua, or possibly Mia, she walked down the corridor soundlessly.
私と同じ目に遭いなさい
Oh, fuck. Yua and Mia, identical twins, faces a mirror image of one another, and the boundary that served to differentiate the two was growing more and more blurred. Oh boy. Oh, fuck. Now that's an interesting question, though. If these are delusions, I mean, they have to come from somewhere, right? Like, is she, like, maybe she's always had doubts that she isn't Yua, that she is Mia. Because why did her parents act like they never had another daughter, you know? But who fucking knows? And also, another thing is like, I can't, like, you can't really disapprove that, you know, this isn't a delusion, since Takumi is a delusion, and he's so lifelike that, obviously, this Mia could be is more than likely a delusion as well, bringing out the worst from Yua or Mia's mind, her worst fears, out into the open, really. The fear that she is her own sister, and that one of them is dead, while the other took their place. Two enormous boxes stood tall within the darkness, and yet compared to nearby Shinjuku skyscrapers, they were akin to a small child looking up at their parents. The hospital roof, that was where Yua found herself, had been led there by Mia. A section of the towering fence had been torn open, just wide enough to allow a person to fit through. Whether this was an intentional effort, none could say. Mia and Yua, after moving through the torn section to the outer side of the fence, both now stood at the edge of the roof. Here we go. Before them, the outpatient ward, as that location was lower than the hospital ward. The entire breadth of the roof garden was visible to them. However, the lights were still turned off, so even if there were people there, Yua would be unable to know. The wind blew strongly in the rooftop. The gale made Yua and Mia's soft hair flutter, along with the hems of their clothes.
私たちはもともと一つだったんだからまた戻るだけ
Oh, fuck.
一歩を踏み出せばあなたは私になる
Yua, her eyes vacant of all light, mechanically whispered those emotionless words. Spreading her arms to maintain her barren balance, she endured the upward rising wind. Beside her, Mia, arms spread just as Yua's were, looked at her sister and smiled.
耐える必要なんてないよあなたは私の痛みを知らなくちゃならないさあ飛んでそうすれば私もあなたも同じ痛みを共有するわ私はどっちなの私あなたそれを聞いても意味はないわどっちにしたって話は飛ぶ
Oh, fuck. All hesitation left within Yua disappeared, and so moving her foot forward, she... Oh, shit. A gunshot tore through the dark night. And with a start, Yua came to her senses. Realizing where she was, she let out a frightful scream. The sheer height of where she stood immediately disoriented her, making her lose her balance. She very nearly fell, but in her desperation, she shot her hand towards the fence and behind her and grabbed onto it. Because of this, she successfully managed to avoid being met with a terrible fate. Holy shit. Did not expect that at all. I thought the gunshot already happened. Fuck. The gunshot had come from the roof of the outpatient ward, leading her to look at it once more. In the circular crewing on the roof garden, she managed to spot multiple figures. There were two of them. One was on the ground, and the other stood beside him.
バンさん
Oh boy. Had the detective shot someone, or had the detective been shot by someone?
何をしてるの？どうして私と同じ痛みを味わおうとしないの？そんなの卑怯よ。ずるいわ。ミヤちゃん。違うわ。私はユアよ。ユアは私。
Oh no, don't.
ミヤはあなた。あなたは一体何なの？私はあなたの望んだもの。
Oh.
あなたは私の望んだもの。
Oh shit. Mia reached for her sister, placing her hands around Yua's neck. She began to strangle her. Oh fuck! Yua felt a strong pressure on her throat. She could no longer breathe. Mia was no ghost. She definitely had a body of flesh and blood, and now she was strangling Yua with it.
お願い、死んでよ。今日ぐらい私のお願いを聞いて。いつも我慢してきたんだから。
Oh my god. Yua's vision grew crimson. She reached her hands out into the air in front of her, but found herself unable to grasp anything. I'm going to die. Awash with the most extreme dread, using her whole body, Yua called upon strength she did not even know she had as she tried desperately to break free from Mia's grasp. But Mia was too strong. Yua was unable to move her even a single inch. Even Yua's thoughts were dyed crimson, felt as though her consciousness was being coated in a layer of viscous blood. In a desperate frenzy, she shook her head so violently her glasses fell from her face. From that point onward, to an outside observer, Yua and Mia were no longer distinguishable. It did not matter who killed whom, the result was arbitrary. Yeah, arbitrary. If Yua died, all Mia would have to do was become Yua. If Mia died, all Yua would have to do was become Mia. Feelings of resignation suddenly spread throughout Yua's heart. For her eyes were Mia's, or possibly Yua's face, seeping with anger. Not wanting to see such a sight, she looked away. And what vaulted into her red field of view was a shrubbery. The shrubbery and the flowers adorning the roof garden. In her mind, Yua felt that there was a shadow among those flowers, the likes of which she had never seen before. Though perhaps it was simply an illusion. She had dropped her glasses in the struggle after all. Shit! However, no longer able to breathe and suffering from so much pain, a faint sense of peace gradually rose from within her. No! Despite her thoughts of simply surrendering herself and peaceably passing on, her instinctive desire not to die denied her of that peace. It made Yua extend her hand towards that Desperate shadow. Her distance from the shrubbery was about 2 meters. How she was now, there was no way she would reach it, even if she were to extend her hand. And yet, her fingertips touched something hard and cold. She then grasped it, almost completely unconsciously. The second she did so, Kusanagi Yua's consciousness, right on the verge of fading, instantly became clear, as though the haze had been dispelled from her mind. Oh shit. Oh fuck. There was an invisible yet fierce impact. Her sister, rained upon by shining red lights akin to petals, was blown away. Languidly standing up as she grasped her air, Yua looked at what she was holding and instantly doubted her eyes. It was a sword. All too elegant, like the glasses worn by one. All too sharp, like the wit shown by the other. All too immaculate, all too vigorous. All too delicate, its frame easy to fracture. All too profound, its nature veiled. And so beautiful, it beckoned tears from all who laid eyes upon it. The object now in her hands. It reminded Yua of Elisa's sword that she had seen at the overpass, and of the sword that Ban had spoken of, Senna's.
今のは何？
Oh shit. Fight back! Mia, after being blown away by the mysterious impact, had been buried in the shrubbery. As she held her hand, she freed herself from it and crawled back to her feet.
あなたは何をしたの？私はミヤちゃん、私やっと分かったわ。どうしてここまで一生懸命あなたの死の真相を調べていたのか。私を殺そうとしたの？私はまた殺されるところだったの？また？結局私はあなたが怖かったのよ。当てつけに死なれたと思ったの。あなたがわからなかったの。あなたが死んだ理由は私のせいじゃないって証明して安心したかった。
Damn.
最低のお姉ちゃんね。どうして死んでくれないのよ。
She could no longer get through to her. Their two selves, once together in the beginning, had now diverged completely, never to return to one again. Mia reached to grab her once more, reminded of the pain she experienced before Yua's troubles of dread returned, leading her to... Ooh. Brandish his sword. It carved a sharp tail, and then cut the ghost in half. Mia's movements came to a halt, and with a look of shock on her face, she traced the wound of gouged flesh with her hand, beginning from the left side of her torso and ending all the way at her right shoulder. No blood sprang forth.
ミヤちゃんは2ヶ月前に死にました。それならあなたは誰なんですか？
Countless particles, large enough to be seen by the naked eye, came flowing out from within Mia. Her body, now enveloped in bubbles, gradually collapsed to the ground as her silhouette faded and faded. It was now transforming into something else. Yua, with feelings of incredibility, saw what it was. After a moment's wait, a man with an impressively large physique appeared in Mia's place. He was wearing a denim shirt, jeans, and a rucksack on his back. You had never seen the man before.
誰？あなた誰？
Now reality is kicking back in.
どうしてミヤちゃんの姿に？どうやって？
Yua backed away in confusion, still holding her disc sword. The man was similarly bewildered. He had likely not predicted that he would have been uncovered, leaving him to act in a very clearly frantic manner.
お前こそなんでまさかこのガキギガロマニアックスか聞いてないぞくそどうしたら
And then, ignoring gravity itself, it came flying in, its path almost horizontal. Oh shit. By the time the man looked behind him, it had already perforated the rucksack on his back. Ooh. And from that same rucksack, a pale flash of light surged. The man, as though he had just received an electric shock, stiffened up like a pole. His eyes shot open wide, and only a moment later he lost consciousness, falling face first to the ground. He foamed at the mouth, and every so often his body would twitch. The object that had pierced the rucksack was a sword quite like the one you had obtained just a moment ago, with beautiful curves adorning its every edge.
これ
Fuck, it's, I'm pretty sure Remy? You will remember the sword. She had seen it once before. A single presence approached her. Yua raised her head. No, not Remy. I think it's Senna. Someone then emerged from the darkness.
何事か
At
と思っ
least,
た。
yeah, that makes more sense.
こんな騒ぎになっていたの。岸本、どうしたの？
She
さん。
Without a change in her expression, Elise glanced at the sword Yua held in her hands.
感じる大いなる意志を。私がこの病院に居続けた意味はこういうことだったんだ。
Yua had sunk into the ground, dumbfounded. Elise picked up the glasses that had fallen near her, crouched down in front of Yua, and peered at the girl's face. Then, with her slender fingers, she brushed Yua's hair aside and gently put her glasses back in place. Damn.
君もグラジオールの黒騎士だったのね。
And with that, Elise gave a faint, transient smile. Oh, shit. What the fuck is going to happen?
僕を殺してくれないか。
Nanami's face stiffened, but shortly after that she put on a clearly forced smile.
お兄、つまんない冗談やめなよ。
That reaction wasn't like her. Normally she wouldn't just laugh it off. Normally she'd angrily yell, "Don't say that, you dumb jerk," and spend the next few minutes reprimanding me. Well, not that it mattered. I didn't care. She wouldn't kill me. I had no more business with this Nanami. She could just up and vanish for all I cared. I locked eyes with Saratan. If only Saratan was in the third dimension, she would have gladly granted my wish. If I was going to be born a delusionary existence anyway, at least have me be born in the second dimension.
ねえ、そんな冗談は置いといて、その話があるんだ。
Oh boy.
あのね、お兄にもらったバングルなくしちゃったの。どうせ適当に扱ってたんだろうとか言わないでね。ナナ、そんなことしてないもん。本当に大切にしてたもん。なのにどこでなくしたのかもわかんなくて。
What? You treasured it? Seriously? Incredible. Generally fucking incredible. Comedy gold, really. Besides, I gave you it, didn't I? So it's worthless anyway.
僕は妄想じゃない。僕は妄想じゃない。
Besides, the fact that I'd given Nanami the Bangle in and of itself was suspicious. Could have been a delusion too, for all I know. That was why nothing in this world was worth anything. Each and everything in my memories was worthless.
僕は妄想じゃない。僕は妄想じゃない。
お兄が初めてくれたプレゼントだったのにな。なんでなくしちゃったりしたんだろう。
僕は妄想じゃない。僕は妄想じゃない。
お兄、聞いてる？
僕は妄想じゃない。僕は妄想じゃない。
お兄はどうしていつもそうなの？
Her head hung low, and her fists clenched tight. Nanami let out a faint whisper.
たまにはお兄ちゃんらしく頼りがいのあるとこ見せてよ。
What now? If you're here to criticize me, you're wasting your time. After all, I'm a delusionary existence.
僕は妄想じゃない。僕は妄想じゃない。
All I did was stare blankly at Saratan's smile. There was no reason to listen to Nanami. It was all pointless. After all, I was a delusionary existence.
今までずっとナナがしっかりしなきゃって思って頑張ってきたけど、でもね、やっぱりナナだってたまには 誰かに甘えたいよ。誰かにじゃなくてお兄に甘えたいよ。
僕は妄想じゃない。僕は妄想じゃない。
だってお兄はナナのお兄なんだから。お兄に頼りたいって思うことナナにもあるんだよ。
僕は妄想じゃない。僕は妄想じゃない。
そりゃいつもああしろこうしろ言われてお兄も嫌だろうけど、それはお兄がだらしないから仕方なく。言いたいことはそういうことじゃなくて。
僕は妄想じゃない。僕は妄想じゃない。
ナナだっていろいろ愚痴を聞いてもらいたい時とか泣きたい時とかあるんだよ。お兄に優しくしてもらいたい時とかあるんだよ。
僕は妄想じゃない。僕は妄想じゃない。
ねえお兄、ナナの話聞いてよ。ナナ、今すごく悲しいんだよ。お兄にもらった大切なバングルなくなっちゃって、声出して泣きたいくらい悲しくて辛くて。お兄に抱きしめてほしいのに、お兄に頭撫でて慰めてほしいのに。ねえお兄、今日だけはナナのわがまま受け止めてよ。
Raising my head in a daze, I saw Nanami crying. She was hanging her head well, and while she was trying her best to hold them in, tears ran down her pained face all the same. God damn it, man. What the... That scene got me. Oh, that scene really got me. Oh, that scene really got me. I don't know what it was. I feel like it was a mix of so many things, honestly. First of all, obviously, Nanami crying and, Takumi not even listening to her, even if she was fake. A delusion still hurts, And that whole thing about wanting a shoulder to cry on, to vent to, someone to express your innermost thoughts to, just so you can get it out of your head for once. Really hit close home as well. really got me. Now let's see what type of crazy bullshit's up in here. Upon opening the glass door, the very moment Remy entered what appeared to be a lobby, a twitch of fear ran through her. A chill breeze, cold enough to freeze her over, crept up her legs. There was no sign of anyone. A fact that was obvious for this place and this place alone, and yet, when Remy thought about what awaited her ahead, she could not help but wish that someone could have been there with her. Before her was a soundproof door, a door akin to those of a movie theater. From a small crack within that gateway, the chill breeze came wafting through. The breeze was accompanied by a white haze, a haze akin to the smoke that rose from dry eyes. Remy fiercely bit down on her whip. In her hands were this sword, already rebooted.
だから大丈夫。だから怖がっちゃダメだ。
Desperately telling herself that, she gulped a single time before proceeding to burst open the soundproof door with her shoulder. Oh shit. Remy's eyes went wide at the scene she saw before her. There stood a device that was beyond enormous. Enshrined in the center of the dome-shaped room, it could be described only as a monster. An ominous sound rang faintly throughout the spacious room. It was a low-pitched noise akin to the deep growl of a beast, a sound that signified the device's operation.
の圧
Ah, so this is it. And it looks like the monster from the back of the essay.
も
Giant eye.
う動いてるんだ。
Oh shit.
君のおかげですよ。
A voice replied to Remy's vexed murmurs. The moment she heard that voice, Remy felt her very soul tremble.
崎畑リミ。1年半ぶりですね。
Oh shit, a year and a half. Remy's instinct was to be engulfed in fear. Shivers rose from the depths of her heart. Abominable memories attacked her consciousness. Her grim past was on the brink of being resurrected. To endure such a threat, Remy shrank from the grasp around her death sword and lightly shook her head. Once she regained her hold, she shifted her gaze toward the voice. Right beside the enormous device, Noah too was hidden, the figure of a man downed in a suit, and by his side... What the fuck? Was Nishijou Nanami held captive? So the other one isn't real, but it's Takumi's version of her, isn't it? Her uniform was torn and a bangle soaked with blood was wrapped around her right wrist. Her hand hung toward the floor, and she looked terribly, terribly pale. She never... Well, no. I thought it said bangled, but no, it's bandage. Never mind. She did still lose the bangle. Faced with such a pitiable sight, Remy was at a loss for words. Crucified, and Jesus of Nazareth's likeness. No. What held her now could not be called a cross. It was something far different, for it took the shape of pure, unadulterated malice. The entirety of this world's evil. The entirety of this world's disorder. The entirety of this world's immorality. It would be no exaggeration to refer to it as a symbol sculpted to those very attributes.
君がこの1年半どこで何をしていたかについて興味はありませんが
It's like a diss sword, but just meant for pain.
困りますね。あまりうろちょろされると。
The man, Norose Genichi, spoke in a peaceful tone, but his voice was embedded with the sharpness of a blade. Doing everything in her power not to sink to her knees, Rumi glared back at Norose.
ナナちゃんを話して。
ほう。まさかここに来たのはお友達を助けに来たという理由ですか？
ナナちゃん、話して。その子は何も関係ないでしょ。
では直接話してみてはどうですか？
Norise's offer left Rumi confused. She was acting brave, but in truth, the moment she had seen Norise's face, her heart had been seized by fear, and her legs had begun to tremble. Unable to move an inch from where she stood, she called out to the crucified Nanami.
ナナちゃん。
Nanami's head ever so slightly stirred. Her eyes, which had been closed until that very moment, opened faintly. She raised her head, and her hollow eyes fell upon Rumi.
リミさん。大丈夫。今助けてあげるから。
In the middle of Rumi's sentence, Nanami's face twisted in pain. Her face was pale and her breathing labored.
痛いよ。右手が痛いの。
Then, with very little resistance, Nanami's body slid off the cross. Shit.
ナナちゃん。ねえ、リミさん。
Without getting up from the floor, Nanami lifted her head and let her gaze roam around about the room. It was as if she was searching for something.
ナナのバングル知らないかな。見つからなくて。ナナのバングルどこにもなくて。
She staggered to her feet, and this time she searched her surroundings with her left hand.
バングルだね。分かった。私知ってるから。だから私と一緒にここを出よう。病院に行こう。ね。手が痛いよ。ナナはなんでリミさんのことを知ってるんだっけ？
Yeah.
前にどこで会ったんだっけ？
That's a great question.
リミさんなの？リミさんがナナのバングル？嘘。どうして？ひどいよ。
Rumi, who realized that something was wrong with Nanami, instantly looked to Narose. With a scornful grin painted on his face, he simply observed Rumi and Nanami's exchange.
ナナちゃんに何を見せてるの？
Damn, he got fangs. Fucking vampire over here. Fucking white hair, pale skin. Shit, he might as well be Kane. Nanami's gaze was fixed on Rumi. Trembling like a newborn fawn, she slowly stood up, and then she held her right wrist as if offering Rumi her palm. A bandage drenched in blood. It almost appeared as if her hand were still connected. Oh, Jesus. And yet, one after the other, vibrant scarlet drops fell from the bandage without reprieve. By her feet, a pool of blood grew larger and larger with each passing second. She made some medical attention fast. But despite how frantic she was, Rumi was unable to get any closer. For getting closer to Nanami would mean getting closer to that man. It frustrated her a great way, leaving her on the verge of tears.
リミさんが持ってたの？ナナちゃん、帰ろう。こっちに来て。どうして持ってくの？返して。ナナのバングル返して。落ち着いて、ナナちゃん。お兄からもらったナナの大切なあれは 誰にも渡したくないの。返して返してよ、ナナちゃん。
Shit. Together with her pain scream. Oh fuck. A single drop of blood fell from her right wrist before it had the opportunity to hit the ground to drop crystallized at high speed. Originating from nothing, with a drop at its center, the mineral-esque object burst into view. It was as if a carapace formed from minerals had whipped through a swift in space. In the blink of an eye, it took shape. Oh my god. It resembled a cross far more than the object that had previously held Nanami. Or perhaps it was a sword which pierced itself perpendicularly, as if rejecting all.
これはディソード。
Also, this, I mean, makes sense. In order to power up Noah too. Get a sample. Also, I guess that hand was real, because she is missing one. Nanami, as if embracing it, held it close to her chest. Tears born from all of the sadness within her fell upon it. Her disc sword flickered scarlet, as if one with her pulse.
ないとリミさんのこと許さない。
Fucking Narose influencing her mind with Noah too.
そんなナナちゃんも気ガロマニアックスだったの。今日だけはナナのわがまま受け止めてよ。
God damn it, man. Okay. This might be a bad time to stop, but I'm gonna stop here. Holy shit, man. Cause this is gonna make me, this is probably gonna make me cry. Again. Hell, it's probably gonna do it next episode. It don't matter when. But shit, man. This fucking story has taken such a turn, you know? Like a real fucking turn, and I'm loving it, really. It's destroying me. That's what it's doing. It's fucking destroying me. Fuck. But I feel like we're getting very close to the end here. We're probably very close to the end here. Maybe next episode will be the end of it, or maybe there's a chapter 10. There's probably a chapter 10. Like, you can't just do 9 chapters and not have like a chapter 10 or whatever. But god damn it, with all this shit with Nanami, it's just getting at me, man. It's gnawing at me. It's fucking getting to me hard. Oh my god. But yeah, this is a good stopping point. If you guys have enjoyed this episode, hit that subscribe button. If you liked it, hit the like button. We're talking something, put down comments below. Want to check out Discord server hanging out in, or my Twitter, check description below. And yeah, this has been Voidlego. I'll see you guys next time. See ya!